Imperial says he's not executing his faith in cutting out secular music. He should be substituting that for Christ-centered music, gospel music, in which I haven't been trying enough. And he's not trying enough because he finds secular music more enjoyable. Well, I think that's cool. Listen, I'll say this though, in terms of the secular music that you're listening to, are you paying attention to the thoughts that show up in your mind as a result of listening to it? And the thoughts and desires and emotions that are built up from listening to that secular music, does it then lead you to go and check out, log on, and, you know, meet and all that, right? Does it make you want to get on Tinder for a quick hookup for the night? Does it make you want to do things that are ungodly, right? These are the kinds of things that we need to think about, because I think then at that point, that is something we need to cut out. We do need to supplement that and not necessarily keep it in our back pocket. You know, it's so interesting reading through the Old Testament and seeing how God had called Israel as they walked into the promised land to rid of all the inhabitants that weren't supposed to be there. Canaanites, Jebusites, Perizzites, Hivites, Hittites, you name them, they weren't supposed to be there. And all of this boundary lines and for the inheritance is being granted. We're starting to see these slippages of these individuals that are remaining in the promised land as God told them not to remain. They were supposed to get rid of them completely. This is an example of what it looks like to not rid of something that is causing sin completely, right? The result of it is that it doesn't just stay in its little pocket. It grows. You completely turn to it, really embrace it, right? It goes from something being hidden to something you kind of take out every once in a while. Then if you snuggle up with it, you hug on it, you embrace it, you're doing everything with it, right? Sin, the little sins in your life. And by little sins, I mean the sins that you're keeping low key. Not everybody really knows, but only you know, because you only know the thoughts that it's creating, and you only know the vibe that it's kind of creating in you that makes you want to go do all this kind of stuff. But nobody else knows, so you're cool. Those things is what's going to get you in trouble. So the secular music, right? If it's creating these kinds of patterns of thought that are ungodly and something that you shouldn't be focused on, because then it's taking your attention away from where you should be and putting you in places that you don't need to be, I think that is something you need to evaluate and replace. So again, I'll ask that same question to you, Imperial, and I think I want everybody to think about that as you're typing it in. What's the long-term risk of you not doing that? What is it that you're going to end up missing out on if you don't lock in and say, I'm going to execute my faith by no longer doing this, no longer doing that, because I know that if I keep doing this, my future family's in jeopardy, my future children's in jeopardy, my future, my purpose, my calling, all of that's in jeopardy, greatly, in measurements I don't even think I could fathom if I don't lock in and say, bro, I need to fix that. And I need to first, by fixing it, own up to it. Because there's nothing that's going to be brought to the light if you don't first admit that it needs to be brought to the light. There's no doctor ever in life that is going to work on a healed patient. You have to admit that something's wrong in order for the doctor to then go in and deal with what's ahead. It's the same way here. It's the same way here. So just keep thinking about that. I get you that the secular music is enjoyable. I think, maybe you have more that you could say on it, PD. I don't really feel like I have my thoughts all the way together on it. I know I've heard a lot of thoughts on it. Should Christians listen to secular music and all this kind of stuff? But then when we go into the depths of like what's considered secular, like a Toy Story song is considered secular. Well, we're not gonna, tell people, hey, no, you shouldn't listen to Toy Story music. Like, I mean, what are we talking about here, right? So maybe, I don't know, maybe I don't want to force that conversation if that's, I was just thinking about it a little bit, but yeah, that's kind of all I got. If you had any thoughts on the secular music or anything.
No, I really think you hit the nail on the head. Listen, so ear gates, eye gates, right? You got to be paying attention to what you're listening to, even what you're watching. There's certain movies. My wife and I like to watch movies. There's certain movies that we've seen. We've been like, hey, this is not our cup of tea. We got to shut that off. Now, some people be like, you're being too spiritual. No, it's not. See, I'm still a human being, so I don't need to see certain things because of, past things or whatnot. It allows you to start to live in a fantasy, which is basically the same thing that porn is. Porn is a fantasy. It's not something you're going to do. So you're fantasizing about this. If you listen to music that makes you, hey, be like you said, man, maybe I'll turn on my Tinder real quick, hit up this hottie, go, what did Dion, what y'all say? Bust guts? What is it? What is it called? Whatever.
Man, I forgot.
Whatever y'all do.
Cheeks?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Whatever. So all of that, if it's going to make you start going down these kind of pathways and stuff like that, then hey, that's not your thing. But I also think too, I asked in the Discord some time ago about who y'all thought was like the best rapper and all this other kind of stuff, and it let me know. I was wondering that because of who everybody listens to. And so I think you got to be careful about lyrics. I think there's undercover lyrics, and if you're not spiritual enough to pay attention to those things, you might be inviting yourself into something that you ain't really paying a lot of attention to, that really could be sending you down the wrong pathway with the way that you think. And we're not just talking about lust, we're talking about belief systems are woven into music. People use music to talk about what they believe. And these are things that a lot of people just ignore because that's what's up. We need to be cool, so on and so forth, or whatever, whatnot. So, I think that you have to use a lot of wisdom and discernment for music. But in general, there's some great secular music out there that is just good secular music. But you need to use wisdom pretty much in all that you do, in every area of your life, truthfully. So it should be what you start with. You'd be like, hey, is this good for me to listen to? Does this elicit these types of feelings for me and have me feel some kind of way? Then you need to pay close attention to that. But no, I think you did that. I think that was exhausted great, for sure.
For sure. No, I appreciate it.